Good evening, SportsZonians. How's everybody doing out there tonight? I am Mike Aglioloro. I am your host for this is Sports Zone. Coming live like we do each and every week here via the I-95 Sports and Entertainment Radio Network. And we will be, this program will be recorded and put up on the brand new Blackjack TV. I believe every Wednesday, so you catch the replay there. You catch the replays on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Mike Aggs 121. So it'll be all over the place. And once again, we thank Bobby Guarente, the president and head of the I-95 Sports and Entertainment Radio Network and Blackjack TV, for letting us do that each and every week here. And we got a lot to talk about tonight. We should be joined by both Dave Hastings and Erich Treslar in a matter of minutes here. Well, imagine my surprise Saturday. I get home from work sometime around 5:30, 6 o'clock, I believe, and I look at my trade rumors app, which of course encompasses MLB trade rumors, pro football rumors, and hoops rumors. All three websites and this one app, and there's also a thing for hockey rumors, which I never look at that. I look at the hoops rumors one, and I didn't think it would get done this soon. And I definitely was surprised to learn that the Lakers were able to pull it off. Anthony Davis has, in fact, been traded by the New Orleans Pelicans to the Los Angeles Lakers in a trade that cannot be finalized until the start of the NBA year, July 6th. Going to the Lakers is, of course, Anthony Davis, all-star center, young, very talented player, one of the top 10 players in basketball without question. Going back to the Pelicans is Lonzo Ball, Brendan Ingram, Josh Hart. Kudos to the Lakers for not having to put Kyle Kuzma in the deal. And the Pelicans will receive 3 draft picks. They get the number 4 pick in the draft that is coming up on Thursday. They get the Lakers pick in 2021, which is top 8 protected and becomes a top 14 protected pick in 2022 if the pick does not convey, and then they get a pick in 2024 from the Lakers. And they also have the right to swap number 1 picks in 2023 and 2025. So the Pelicans get a bounty of draft picks back, and they get Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Josh Hart. We're gonna talk about this with Dave and Erich when they come on the program in a couple minutes here. I know Erich is very disappointed that the Knicks were unable to pull Anthony Davis off. I'm going to say this now because I don't feel like I'm going to get a chance to. I kind of feel like the Knicks dodged a bullet here, and we have a text chain between the three of us that we text occasionally. Big news when Game of Thrones is going on. I got 5,000 memes from Erich, all very funny. And I know Erich was disappointed. Dave, I think, was just like, wow, nothing's going right for the Knicks here. And my reaction was, and I firmly agree with this, I never thought I would live to see a day where the Knicks actually value first-round picks to the point where they would not give up the package that the Lakers gave up. So I was very surprised, and I was happy they did not give up that much. I would later find out conflicting reports that the Knicks had never made a formal offer to the Lakers, and then there was another report that said that we had said a few weeks ago Erich felt that a combination of Kevin Knox, Mitchell Robinson, and the first pick in this year's draft might be enough of a package. Apparently, Knox and Robinson were never actually put in the package offered by the Knicks. If they were to have offered one, it was Dennis Smith and Frank Ntilikina, which I think everybody can admit that's a horrible offer. But anyway, we have Dave Hastings on the program tonight. Dave Hastings, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, my friend. I'm doing good. How about you doing?
Not too bad. Not too bad. First Tuesday I had off in months, So it was very nice not to have to race home today and feel like I'm going to pass out on the show. And I apologize if I am bragging to you, sir. I know you probably want to punch me right now because I'm sure you had a busy day of work, but it was a good day for me.
Hey, I'm always happy to hear you had a good day, my friend. And
Yeah.
I've been unemployed before, and trust me when I say having a job is better than not.
Yes, I do agree with that. I am not unemployed. I was just lucky to have the day off today. And I got tomorrow off, too, so it's nice to have 2 days off in a row. And I work at Party City during June, during graduation season. So let me tell you something. This weekend's going to be fucking murder, let me tell you. You have no idea. So anyway, I was kind of hoping to save this. I'm hoping that Erich comes in within the next few minutes here. But it's the biggest story of the week, so we kind of have to go into this right now. Anthony Davis to the Los Angeles Lakers. I was talking about this a little bit before you came on. What were your reactions when you heard this trade went down?
I mean, I think it was one of those things that you knew it was coming. It was just a matter of when and, how much. I know we all said that there might be some different players or different teams in the mix for Anthony and Davis, but everybody really also kind of knew that the only team he was really saying he'd re-sign with and, do the long-term deal with would be the Lakers. So obviously, he wanted to get the trade done before the season was over. So instead of going to them on a 4-year deal, he can get the 5-year deal. And, that he wants to, get signed and get it over with. The Lakers wanted to have it done before the season started because, honestly, it was a combination of all this trade talk and all the different guys that were, projected to possibly be traded for him. And you saw the drop in the performance of the team as a whole. And I think that all parties knew it was better to do it in the off season than it was to do it during the season. And all parties, I think, also knew that it was better to do it before the draft than after the draft.
Yep.
So, with all those factors being, part of the process, it really doesn't come as a surprise. I'll never say you overpay when you trade for a superstar, just, due to the fact that, to me, nobody's guaranteed to be a superstar, and you can go 3, 4, 5 drafts, without one. We really, it was between when Kobe got drafted and LeBron got drafted, where there was, a guy that came in and truly changed the shape of the league. And hell, even Kobe at least took a couple of years for him to even be a part of that with Shaq before he went and did his own thing. He was in the league for, 8 years before it really made that transition, where LeBron came in and was an immediate, impact on the Cavaliers and the entire NBA. So, I mean, there's a reason they're called generational players. And when you can get a guy like Anthony Davis, and just so I'm being clear here, I don't know if I would at this point consider Anthony Davis a generational player. I still think he has things to prove to be considered something like that. But when it's all said and done, he's definitely one of the top 5 to 7, 8 players in the whole league. And to be a man of his size and be able to, be in that conversation, tells you something. And I think having him and LeBron together, I know if I remember correctly, it was you that wasn't the biggest fan of that combination. It might have been Erich, but I believe it was you.
What combination was that again we're talking about? I'm sorry.
Of Anthony Davis and LeBron.
I couldn't tell you. I don't remember us talking about that combination, truthfully.
It might not even be you or Erich. It might be somebody else I was talking to about it, if I'm being honest. Who really knows? But, I think that, together they can play well. But more importantly, I think when you have the ability to give each one rest while the other one is your dominant player, I think is a great combination. And I think it's something that, makes them one of the more dangerous teams in the West, especially looking at the injuries Golden State's going in with.
I will say this, and a shout out to Eric Pfeiffer, who has joined us in the chat room here. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting combination with LeBron and Anthony Davis on the same team. Definitely so. I do want to remind you, while Kobe, if you talk generational talent, the space between Kobe and LeBron, Definitely there was a space, but also remember in the drafts that followed Kobe, at least the next couple of years, you did have guys like Kevin Garnett and Tracy McGrady and Tim Duncan, at least in the next couple years after Kobe. So, and Kevin Durant, or excuse me, Kevin Garnett, if I'm not mistaken, he may very well have come before him. I can't remember off the top of my head. I was trying to look it up when you were talking a little bit, so I do apologize for not being on it with that.
They were in the same draft.
Garnett was not. Duncan was 97.
I thought Garnett and Kobe were both drafted in 96.
No, I think Kobe was the only high schooler drafted. I'm trying to look. The Timberwolves selected Ray Allen and then traded him to Milwaukee for Stephon Marbury that year. I'm trying to find what year Garnett got drafted. It might have been 95. Let's see 95 real quick. Yes, Garnett was 95. So he was a year before Kobe Bryant. Okay. And then Duncan was the year after Kobe, and I think McGrady was the year after Duncan if they were not in the same year. McGrady I throw in there because we all know his career got derailed by injuries, but very well could have been that generational talent if that didn't happen. So I just wanted to throw that in there. I do have some questions because there's a couple ways to look at this. He said something very true. It's hard to say a team overpays for a player when he's a superstar talent like Davis is. Let's talk about the player return. Let's not talk about the draft picks just yet. The player return. Lonzo Ball, Brendan Ingram, Josh Hart. The Lakers get to keep Kyle Kuzma out of this. I look at that player return, and I got to be honest. I'm not the biggest believer in Lonzo Ball. Ingram has been nothing but inconsistent his entire career, and I don't really know what Josh Hart is. Josh Hart, everybody talks him up. I have no idea what this guy is because he's never really been given that long of a leash like guys like Ingram and Ball and Kuzma have been given. So what do you think about that return that the Pelicans get back? Just talking about the players right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to keep in mind, though, I mean, I think Kuzma or Ingram both kind of, talent-wise kind of line up. But, to kind of go on more of a salary cap side of things, Ingram was, I believe, like $13 million, where Kuzma is only like $1.5 million. So the Lakers really kind of made a right move just due to the fact that if you think about it, really for them, they saved themselves some cap space by, keeping Kuzma and getting rid of Ingram instead. I think, most franchises look at the two of them as, the same kind of value if you're putting a grade on a, player's value. So I think it was more cap related when it came down to the Lakers' point of view on going Kuzma over Ingram. But I also think if you're the Pelicans, I mean, you got to be sitting there and realize you now have the number 1 and number 4 pick. I believe Ingram was the top 5 pick just I think it was 3 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lonzo Ball was the top 5 pick just 2 years ago. So you have a whole bunch of young players that a lot of people rated very highly coming out of college. And I think if you have the right coaching staff there, if you have a staff that you believe can handle that young group of players, they may not win a lot of games, but I think they could be a lot of fun to watch. I think it could be a very entertaining, up and down, high pace. Like, they could end up being a really fun team to watch. They may not have the greatest record, but they could be a lot of fun to watch, and maybe even sneak in at that 8 seed, because the West is going to be really different this year.
Oh yeah,
and with the injuries to Durant and Thompson, the drama in Houston, I'm sure we'll get to at some point. Like, the West is going to be interesting. So that Pelicans team can be a lot of fun to watch. And the Lakers, it's this simple. Now they have to be extremely smart with the last amount of cap room that they have.
Absolutely. And we didn't even talk about how the NBA Finals turned out. I went straight into Anthony Davis. I almost completely forgot about the NBA Finals, so good call on that one. But he is here tonight He has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, Erich Treslar is here tonight. Erich, how you doing?
I've literally had myself on you over here screaming as Dave is talking. Screaming because this whole trade is hot garbage. The entire move, the entire offseason has now become trash. It is the epitome of Murphy's Law for the Knicks. Everything that could go wrong is going wrong.
I knew that was the point he was going to take.
And then they tell me that it's like, oh, then they got the next pick. Like, the fourth pick is garbage. It's a 3-person draft, and you got the fourth fucking pick. It's garbage.
Which they could still move. They could still move that pick.
Don't give me Ingram. Oh, he's a budding loser. He's a budding bench player. He's not going to be a superstar in the league.
I disagree with that.
They're not going to be a fun team to watch. They're going to be a team that wins 30 games, if that. It's going to be garbage.
Okay, Erich.
Zion saves everything. Maybe Zion comes in and saves the world. But it would have been a lot better to do, and probably would have looked a lot better if they would have found another way to make any other trade work. I'm just not a fan of this trade at all.
Well, Erich, let me ask you a question. Are you thinking that – because I want you to remove the Knicks element out of this. Do you feel –
garbage trade. They could have got this trade done mid-season. There's no reason to wait this long. This trade was there mid-season.
Well, it was an ego thing.
You can put the egos aside, whatever. This is garbage.
Mm. Well, here's the deal.
Garbage for one of the league's best players. Congratulations, Lakers. You're going to have another couple winning seasons on your hands. Knicks fans, you're back in the doldrums until the foreseeable future. You doesn't matter how much cap space you have. Everybody else out there isn't worth it. It's not worth paying. You're going to overpay for for anybody. You're going to overpay for anybody out there. You're going to overpay for a Kemba Walker who's probably going to end up staying in Charlotte anyway. You're going to overpay for any of these guys. So it's not worth it. The guys you want either got hurt or picked somewhere else to go. And now Davis goes to LA. So no, even if I remove my Nickdom out of this, Anthony going to LA still doesn't make any sense because this trade was there mid-season. Take it then. If it was truly the best or whatever. It's garbage. Hot garbage.
Well, listen. What I would say is I do think the player return is a little underwhelming when you see the results that a guy like Ingram has.
Come on.
Stop. All right, we get it.
Now you got to bring LeVar with you. Now you got to listen to more LeVar.
Well,
for the Lakers, they contained him enough where you heard from him very sparingly.
That's my favorite.
They kept him in check. They can't do that in New Orleans. They can't keep that guy in check. It is going to be the LeVar Ball fucking Pelicans.
You see, I don't agree with that. And first of all, my favorite part of this trade is LeVar Ball was so gung-ho about his son's playing with the Lakers, and now his son gets traded to New Orleans. I love that part. That's hysterical to me.
It's hot garbage because him and his whole family went with it. They're all hot garbage.
I don't really know how much the Pelicans are going to put up with LeVar Ball's nonsense, tell you the truth. And with the Lakers, I think you got Lonzo. I don't know about that. I mean, you're going to have to deal with him tweeting and doing the interviews and doing all that stuff. But in terms of him actually being involved with the team, they're going to kick his ass out. They ain't going to take him. I'm sorry. But anyway, let's refocus again. Let's get back here. Let's look a little bit. The pick return. They get 3 first-round picks, and they get the right to swap picks in 2 other years. We've seen this scenario play out before with how the Celtics did it with the Nets. And the Celtics basically were able to rebuild their team and put themselves in a good enough position to add guys like Kyrie Irving and Gordon Hayward to it. Now, obviously, they did not become a championship-level team, but they definitely became relevant again as a result of it. Do we see this working out that way for the Pelicans? Erich, I think I know what you're going to say. So, Dave, I will start with you.
I mean, look, the bottom line is the only way it works out for the Pelicans is if Zion turns into a superstar and one of the other draft picks that they have turns into a really good player as well. That's it. I mean, there's no – I mean,
do you know how it works out for the Pelicans? Do you know how it works out for the Pelicans? It works out if the Knicks somehow, which could easily happen at this point because it seems like everything's on the table for the Knicks at this point, They could somehow not draft one of the top 3 players in the 3-player draft that we're having and go with somebody else like the kid out of Vanderbilt I'm hearing they're having a workout with. If they pull some shenanigans like that, I got to tell you, as a Knicks fan, I think I'm off the bus. I think I might just quit basketball altogether. I think I'm done. I think it would break my heart that much.
Well, let's move a little bit to some free agency talk here with that, because my question.
Well, I mean, hold on, real quick. Can we at least shout out the Raptors for winning? I mean,
you got Clay hurt. Clay put up.
Wait a minute. I don't want to hear
based on injuries. Yes, they won. Yes, they're champions. I'm not taking the trophy away from them. But you cannot tell me they were the best team in the NBA this season. They won a little tournament at the end of the season. They stayed healthy enough to win. Kawhi is a beast. But you can't tell me that even if they just had Clay healthy, just Clay, I'm not even asking for Durant, they don't win the series.
Listen, I don't disagree with you, but the fact is you can't really look at it like that, because remember the one year, how many times did the Warriors play the Rockets and Chris Paul is hurt? And then you got the one year that the Warriors played the Cavaliers without Kyrie Irving or Kevin Love, and it was just LeBron James, and they won in like 6 games. If you're saying, all right, fine, they would have lost with them, which I agree with, then you got to say the same thing about those. And there's no asterisks in the finals here. They won. Congratulations. Try to do it again next year. That's it. Dave, you got a response?
I mean, look, bottom line is injuries happen in sports. I mean, you go back to when the Warriors lost and beat the Spurs, and Kawhi, they were up 25 points. Kawhi goes down, and they end up getting swept. Now, don't get me wrong. I think if Clay stays healthy that game, they forced a Game 7. But either way, that team went in there and they won 3 times on the road in Oracle. It is what it is. They earned it, and the Warriors can make every excuse they want to make, but injuries happen, and you can't tell me you didn't notice Kawhi hobbling around throughout the last couple games of the series. He wasn't playing 100% healthy. Injuries happen. I'm not going to feel bad for the Warriors. I think the Raptors deserve props, and they earned it.
And Stephen Curry,
didn't it make it less worth watching though? Like, to me, once everybody was down, it's like, what am I tuning in for?
No, I think it made it more. I think it made it more worth watching, because at the beginning of the season, how many times did you say this season, and we all agreed with it, that this season was basically locked down for the Warriors to win, and now a team had a legitimate shot to beat them one way or another.
Like I said all year, the Warriors are your champions unless Clay breaks a leg and Durant breaks a leg and somebody else gets hurt, and they all got hurt. That's the only way they lose. They lost that way. It was predictable.
Well, it doesn't matter, though. That's part of navigating through a season and winning a championship.
We'd also be saying it was predictable if they won the whole thing, though. No matter what,
the whole thing was predictable.
Exactly. That's what we all go back to. The NBA is predictable. I will not argue that, but we'd be saying the same thing if they won the series. Be like, well, what a surprise.
I just think the NHL is a lot more fun to watch this playoff season.
Well, Pfeiffer's in the chat room, so you you got someone who agrees with you on that one. So definitely,
agree with me.
Yep.
Eric, I 100% agree. The Stanley Cup was 10 times more entertaining than the NBA Finals.
And the ratings were up for the Stanley Cup this year, if I'm not mistaken. I think the ratings are actually the best they've been in like 20 years. I think they had amazing ratings, I think, for the NHL this year, and I think it was really good. I think more people should get into it. It was fun to watch. Even without the Rangers.
Watching the Blues win that Game 7, it was amazing.
Nice. Absolutely. And shout out to the St. Louis Blues for winning the Stanley Cup. I don't really think anybody thought they were going to win it going into this series. I feel like Boston kind of had the I don't know about the betting advantage, but I feel like they were kind of given the edge in this series, and for Boston and for St. Louis to take it from them on their home ice, give them some credit to that.
Worst to first, I'll say that about the Blues. I think it was as of January 3rd, they were the worst team in the NHL.
Fife just said the same thing in the chat room.
Yeah,
actually.
And they rode the momentum. It was the momentum train. They got hot at the right time. And hockey is the sport where you don't get hot early, you get hot late. Championships are won late in the year in hockey.
Yeah.
Maybe Fife could back me up when I say that, but I just think that it was exciting to watch. Congrats to the Blues team. I think that I just think that was than the Toronto and Golden State series.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I can give you that. Anytime that you don't have a clear favorite, I think it's going to be a little bit more exciting, especially when everybody's at full strength. I can give you that. Do you want to go into some NBA free agency talk, or does anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up? Dave?
Honestly, I mean, I'm good. I'm ready to roll.
Okay. Eric?
I mean, I guess I'm ready to roll. I don't know where you want to go with free agency because Kawhi's probably going to the Clippers.
Well,
Kyrie's going to the Nets, and then everybody else doesn't really matter.
Let me ask you something about that. And let me ask you something about that, because here's the thing. Everybody's got Kyrie nailed down going to the Nets. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because now you got Anthony Davis and LeBron with the Lakers. We've seen, and Kyrie has admitted as much, maybe he wasn't ready to be a lead dog yet. Do we see a scenario where Kyrie goes to the Lakers? Because I think it's a real possibility.
I think it's probably looking like a 75-25 right now. 25 Lakers, 75 Nets. If I had to throw a number out there in my head, but I think it's a very honest, real possibility. I mean, it's a chance where you can go and instantly have a chance to win. You may have to build the Nets up for a couple more years before they're ready to win. Lakers might be pre-made with you, LeBron, and AD, so it's definitely an option on the table for them. But again, I don't think it necessarily matters. I mean, it matters, I guess, to the Lakers and their chance to winning next year. I think it drastically improves theirs, but I don't know.
I think you're just very defeated for the Knicks right now. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Dave.
Eric, I love you, bud. You're so great.
You're the man, brother.
Oh man. Look, I think honestly, I think Kyrie realizes how much he loved winning a championship, and he realizes his road there will be easiest if he goes to the Lakers. So I definitely think there's a great chance of it. I think that I'd probably even go higher than – I'd probably go more almost like a 60-40. Still leaning more towards the Nets, but I really could see him saying, you know what, if I go there, even if he just signs like a 2-year deal with a player option for the second year, like he could get a nice fat chunk of change, help the Lakers salary cap wise, and go win another title. Because I think you put the three of them together and health works out for him, then I don't see how you'd be able to beat that team unless their depth was just that horrible.
And you'd still have Kuzma, and obviously you'd have to add a couple three-point threats, but that could definitely be done in the NBA nowadays. So, but to have those four as your base, and then you add some role players, that'd be very interesting, I would say that. But then it also brings another scenario here, because just because you add these stars doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work out. And I can remember the last time the Lakers tried something like this. You had Kobe Bryant, you had Paul Gasol, and then you brought in Dwight Howard and Steve Nash, and they're still trying to recover from that. So do you see a scenario where they add all these guys and something like that happens? And Eric, I'll go back to you on that.
Yeah, I can see that scenario. Listen, things may not work out. Maybe, Kyrie was happy once with LeBron, but he was also unhappy with him too. So who knows what's going to happen? Same thing with AD. Who knows? Maybe he plays a year there. I don't think he signed an extension right this second. I think he was still waiting until the end of the season to do that and test the free agent waters. More than likely, he still re-signs with the Lakers because that's where he wanted to go to begin with. But there's still a chance that they got a clear cap room for him. They're already paying LeBron a max. Do they have room to pay 3 max guys? I don't know. So I think that they're
right now they don't. They were actually talking about it on the radio this morning. They're with Anthony Davis's salary cap and the players that they have signed for this year right now, they have $22.5 million in cap space.
I think it's a little more. I think it's 23 point something.
Yeah, I'm just saying your max contract comes in at about 32. So.
Mm-hmm. I just read something that the Lakers are actually trying to get the Pelicans to take more players in the Anthony Davis trade to get a little bit more cap space out of it. Like, not big name players, but like 14th and 15th guys on the roster. I think Maurice Wagner and a couple other guys like that.
Well, just to add to the free agency contract, I just saw on the bottom line, Al Horford declined his player option, so he'll be a free agent. Harrison Barnes declined his player option, so he'll be a free agent.
And Hassan, I'm sorry to interrupt. Hassan Whiteside opted in to his option, but he wants a trade.
All right. And I also, apparently the Lakers are trying to get the Pelicans to take more players in the trade to free up more cap space for that next other max contract. Right.
Yeah. Now Eric is defeated because the Knicks did not get Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant is hurt. But here's the thing. I want to pose a scenario, and I want to see if maybe this could raise Eric's spirits a little bit, or if he's just going to completely knock it down and say it won't work. What I would like to see, and I don't necessarily think it's going to happen, but what I would like to see is, now that it's all but certain the Knicks are going to miss out on all the top names. You know, Kevin Durant hurt, Anthony Davis in the Lakers, Kawhi Leonard. I mean, we all know Kawhi Leonard's not coming to the Knicks. It's just not going to happen. They're going to have about $60-70 million in cap space, because I looked today. They got maybe 4 guys under guaranteed contracts for next season. I think it's Dennis Smith, Ntilikina, Mitchell Robinson, and Alonzo Trier. Those are the only guys under guaranteed contracts for them. What I would like to see, rather than going after the superstars, you get a few of these B and C level guys. The guys I would like to see the Knicks target: D'Angelo Russell, Chris Middleton, Julius Randle. I'm a huge fan of Julius Randle. I think, and I don't know if this would work contract-wise, but I think if you could get all 3 of these guys to take contracts in the $20 million range, and again, I don't know if that's realistic. If you take the 3 of those guys, you still got Dennis Smith, you still got Mitchell Robinson, you still got a couple guys underneath that. You have the makings of a really good lineup right there. And if you could add a couple more bench guys beneath that, then you have a team that could be competitive in that Eastern Conference. And Julius Randle is a guy, you look at what he was able to do last season, being totally healthy. Once they kind of shut Anthony Davis down, this guy could be a superstar in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. And, Eric, I think you would like the idea. You take 2 guys that the Lakers cast off and basically said they had no use for. You bring them to the Knicks, and then you watch them fulfill their potential. And wouldn't that be a nice little middle finger to the Lakers? What do you say?
No, it's hot garbage.
Hey, no, it's not. It's not hot garbage, but go ahead. No.
We're taking the Lakers' garbage. We're recycling their garbage.
Hey, Russell was an all-star last season. Russell was an all-star. Yeah, it kind of matters.
Championships with those guys. You're not winning championships.
I don't know if I agree.
You want to be a 7th seed? You want to be a 6th seed?
I think in the Eastern Conference, you would easily be a third or 4th seed in the Eastern Conference with that. Yes, you would.
Nope. You're behind Milwaukee. You're behind Philly. You're still behind Toronto. Even probably if they lose Kawhi. You're behind the Celtics. You're behind other.
You're not. But the Celtics are going to lose Kyrie. How are you behind the Celtics? They're going to lose Kyrie. How are you behind them?
How are you behind the Celtics? Think about what they did without Hayward or Kyrie.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
Look at what they did with that roster without Kyrie or Hayward.
Yeah, but you're also risking them losing Terry Rozier.
The guys you're saying you're behind the Celtics. At best, you're a 4 or 5 seed. At best.
I think that would be a very interesting matchup, truthfully. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that one, but I will defer to you for right now. I don't know if I agree with that, though.
I got to side more with Eric on that one. I don't think the guys you're looking at, the guys you're talking about, suck. I'm just saying they're not going to take the Knicks from bottom of the barrel to fighting for the Eastern Conference Finals.
Do not sleep on Julius Randle. That is all I'm going to say. And Russell, I'm sorry. Russell is not the guy who was cast away from the Lakers 2 years ago. He's a freaking all-star right now, and he's a guy who could command a max contract from one of these teams right now, especially if Irving does sign very quickly and Kemba goes back to Charlotte. Russell's your third best point guard out there.
Yeah, that would be a Nick move to sign the third best point guard to a max deal. That would be a total Nick move.
All right,
probably barely a top 10 point guard in the league.
I walked into that.
Come on.
I walked into that one. I'll give you that.
100% a Nick move. You are right. I can totally see Nick doing that.
I can't believe it.
Russell out in the garden every week.
I set myself up for that. All right, I can't believe I did that. Dave, you want to go next? I'm just going to recover from that for a second.
I mean, look, I like D'Angelo Russell. I think the way he's played for the Nets this year was really impressive, and I will 100% agree he's not the same guy that got casted away by the Lakers, but he's still got a way to go before I consider him a max contract player, and though it is the NBA, and like Eric perfectly said, that would 100% be a Nick move to give a guy that, you know, is still probably a couple of years away from deserving a max contract.
All right. Well, Eric, let me ask you something. What do you think the Knicks should do this offseason then? I gave you my little... Nothing.
Sit there, rebuild with the draft. Do not waste the cap space you have. Sign guys to 1 and 2 year deals. Sign short-term stuff. Do not waste it. Try something else. Rebuild, like I said, if you're going to have to through the draft, you're going to have a good pick this year. Somebody who's going to come in NBA ready to play. So I believe in that at least. Outside of that, it's just probably more losing next season until they get another pick, seeing if anybody else wants to come. You got to keep the cap space available in case, God forbid, somehow you strike lucky and somebody wants to come play with you. You know, you gotta. I don't. That's the only way I can see the Knicks actually winning. You try rebuilding through the draft and holding that money out, hoping that somebody comes, hoping somebody wants to be the savior.
Well, unfortunately, I feel like if they're hoping that someone comes to be the savior, I think they're going to be waiting for a while. But trying to build through the draft, I don't disagree with you. I think that could be a decent move too.
Look, the Knicks aren't getting a savior unless they draft a savior. It's that simple.
Savior went to New Orleans.
Nobody's just going to sign with the Knicks. They don't trust ownership. They don't trust how they run the organization. And it for kids in their, late teens and early 20s, MSG does not have the lure it has for our generation.
But they have done some good moves. I do believe a little bit in Perry. I do believe a little bit in who's it, Mills. Fizdale seems to be a player's coach. Players like him. They're trying to change the culture there a little bit. Maybe if they could did what the Nets did a little bit and rebuild through the draft. I hate to say it, but they maybe use their blueprint and build through the draft. Tell people, show people you've turned the organization around. Because remember, they were a mess there for a little while with Prokhorov and all that nonsense. So, I mean, they use their blueprint kind of, and who knows, maybe, in another 3 years when some other superstar becomes available, they'll want to come and save New York.
Well,
real quick, since we're on the Knicks, I don't know if you guys know this, but apparently the Atlanta Hawks offered the Knicks the 8th and 10th pick for the 4th. Or for whatever is it? What's
Third, and they
the
turned
third.
it down, right?
Yeah.
And the Knicks turned it down. Are we happy about this?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a 3-player draft. What do I want picks 8 and 10 for? They don't even equal what you're going to get at 3.
Yeah.
Hot garbage that trade is.
Oh, you've said that word a lot tonight.
I
Hot
know.
garbage.
Ladies and
The
gentlemen.
whole NBA is just hot garbage. It's a steaming pile of trash right now.
The secret phrase for the day is hot garbage. Yes. Say it enough times. What was it that Groucho Marx used to have? The pad will come down from the sky with $100 if you say the secret phrase. Anyway, I want to go back to something you said about using the Nets blueprint, though, because and just to answer Dave's question, yeah, I agree with Eric on that one. The Nets blueprint is also using cap space as a weapon, as Evan Roberts has said over and over again for the last month. If the Knicks could do something like that over the next couple of years, where it's like, we will take your bad contracts if you attach high-value assets to them and build up your pick pool, kind of like what the Celtics did with theirs. I mean, they built their assets up off of the Nets, obviously. You look at what the Kings were able to do. You look at what the 76ers were able to do. You use cap space as a weapon. And if you're able to do that, then you're able to build a treasure trove of assets, kind of like what some of these other teams that have tried to rebuild have done. That wouldn't be a bad idea either. Eric?
Yeah, no, it's not a bad idea. I mean, but I just, I don't know. I prefer keeping the cap space open. I don't want to use it as a weapon. I don't want to take back bad contracts. I'm over the bad contracts. I'm over the Bargnani contracts and all the nonsense we used to take. I don't want it.
We gave up a first-round draft pick for Bargnani, though. I'm saying we would get the first-round draft pick back with the bad contract, though.
No, I don't want the bad contract with it, though, because then you're detracting from possible guys that are superstars. Again, some superstar one day is going to want to come play in New York. Somebody's going to want to come save New York. Till then, I'm holding out. You got the money cleared now. Keep that money free. If you don't get, like I said, 1 and 2 year deals, you don't need to take back bad contracts. I don't know. Unless you're taking back a 1 year deal. If you're taking back a 1 year deal or the rest of the season, I might be okay with that.
Yeah, but the problem with that is if it's only a 1 year deal, you're not getting much value back in return with that bad contract for 1 year, though. I don't want a bad contract, though. We've had them. They don't work out well for us. I get what you're saying, and I'm not 100% advocating for it. I'm just saying if you take back a bad contract with 2 or 3 years left, you're more likely to get a high first-round draft pick back as opposed to just taking a guy who's got 1 year left on his deal. That's just the way sports work now. You get more assets back by taking on longer-term bad contracts than you do with shorter terms. It's just the way it is.
2010, I think it was 2010 off season all over again. This is Amari Stoudemire 2.0.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, Dave.
Yeah, the Knicks are gonna nick. I don't know how. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and there's a good chance we have more angry conversations with Eric than happy ones when it comes down to the New York.
Well, I mean, you can't deny the entertainment value from an angry Eric, so I'll say that. Even when
I'm hotter than Stephen A. Smith. I'm hotter than Stephen A. Smith on this topic. I got to tell you, I'm just disgusted. I can't.
Has anybody seen? I'm sorry, Eric. Has anybody seen the videos of the baby Stephen A. Smith? That shit is hysterical.
Yeah,
I have not.
Yeah. They basically Snapchat his face into a baby and then they raise the pitch of his voice so it sounds like a 5-year-old having a Stephen A. Smith rant. It's hysterical. It's so damn funny. Nobody knows what I'm talking about. God damn it!
No, I know what you're talking about. I've seen it. It's funny. I'm with you.
Okay, good. All right, so we got a little less than 5 minutes left. We'll do some final points right now. Dave Hastings.
I mean, honestly, it's probably the last real NBA conversation we're gonna have. Well, I mean, next week you got the draft will happen, but like Eric said, it's a 3-player draft. Yeah, this could be one of our last good, NBA conversations. So I'm glad we had it.
Well, I definitely think we're going to have at least one more that first week of free agency. I think we'll have at least one more. But after that, yes, I agree with you. It'll definitely go on the back burner. And Erich Treslar, how do you feel about your team getting Edwin and Encarnacion this weekend?
I'm all right with it. I'm a little bummed we had to send Frazier down. I'm a fan of Frazier's. I think he's gonna be a good player in this league for a long time. But they still have some options on him, so send him down. I'm excited. Stanton's back in the lineup tonight, and Judge homered in AAA tonight, and he looks like he'll be back by the weekend. So it's about to be bashing time around the Bronx.
Mm.
I'm excited to see it.
Frazier's getting traded. I'm going to say it right now. There's no way Frazier is a Knick or is a Yankee by August 1st. He's going to be traded. That's how you're getting pitching. That's just my opinion.
I'm hoping they trade some other pieces, maybe Florial, or I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens. They definitely need a pitcher, but we'll see what happens. Who knows? Maybe they're feeling good about the way Severino is looking or feeling, and maybe that's why they didn't make a move or a bigger move to get Keuchel. But I'm just excited because they're still in first, losing right now 2-1, but still in first place, still rolling, and now they actually start getting healthy. They got Didi back last week. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch the rest of the season. I'm excited.
And the Mets season is basically going to be over by the end of the week. So, yes, that'll do it for us tonight. Both you guys, Dave Hastings, Erich Treslar, thank you both very much for joining me. It's always a blast talking to you guys. And thank you to everybody who is listening in the chat, everybody who will be listening on the replays. Eric Pfeiffer, thank you for being here, brother. Always appreciate you. I am Mike Aglioloro. Once again, thank you, everybody, for listening. And we will see y'all next week.